G'day guys, Melbourne Scrapper here. The results are back in for the copper recovery test of thick Romex wire. Now the first thing that I observed is that this thicker gauge versus the braided wire, this one had two thick copper cables in it and one braided copper wire in it. Each wire, whether it's braided or thick, still weighs 64 grams each. Alright, so there's no real difference there. Now the results might not make people happy. So let's have a look. There was 536 gram there, so there's 2.2 pounds to the kilo if you want to adjust for that. So of that, 346 gram was insulation, 190 gram was copper number 1. Right? So that is 35.45% copper. What happens is the thicker the gauge, the higher the insulation. Right? So that's something to consider, that when you've got such thick insulation, the weight of it is so vast compared to the copper that your extra money that you're going to make by stripping it is actually going to be far, far less. So we had a 42% copper recovery rate for the braided Romex, thereabouts. So for that to be 35.45, it actually is quite disappointing, and that's almost like a regular power cord. Now let's look at this. This was just a bit thicker kind of copper wiring, right? Not braided, just a thick little copper wire in this kind of wiring. So that was 130 gram, 70 grams copper, 60 gram insulation. So it's a higher copper rate there, 53.85%. So what really kills you is this thick insulation. Alright, so let's just take an example of why the whole copper ratio is important. So you've got Billy here. Billy's got a pound of wire, insulated wire. Now typically, I'm just going to use these easy prices. You're going to get $1 a pound for insulated copper, and $3 a pound for copper number 1. Right, so there's a 3-to-1 ratio. So what that means is, if your copper recovery rate is 33%, you're going to break even. So it needs to be greater than 33% for you to make money. Why? Because if you've got a pound at $1, you're going to make $1. And if you get a third of a pound at $3, because you've thrown 2/3 of a pound of insulation away, you're also going to get $1. Same thing. So in order to make money, you need more than 33%. Now with this at 35.45%, you're only making cents for every pound you strip. So it's not that high a return. That's why you really want to strip stuff with higher ratios, like 80% for your degaussing cables. And the reason why big companies can just buy this in volume and strip it like that, because they're not getting $3 a pound for copper, they're getting the high retail rate. We're just giving them the wholesale rate, scrappers. So that's why they can make the money on it. Guys, give it a go.